Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby is watching a Bruce Willis movie, so he was unable to join us. I'm here with Nick. Nick, we got local news this week. Michael Vick has accepted the Norfolk State University head coaching job. He's replacing Dawson Odoms, who went 15-31 in 4 seasons. If things go well for Mr. Michael Vick at Norfolk State, do you think he could parlay this opportunity into the Virginia Tech head coaching job?
If I was him, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. If I was him, I personally speaking, I wouldn't parlay that to Virginia Tech. I just, off one season, like Teddy Bridgewater went back to his high school and won the state championship. Noted. Right? So he went back to his high school and won the state championship his first season as head coach. And now he wants to be a player again, which is poor choice. But you can't tell a man how to live his life, right? If I'm Michael Vick and you're be at Norfolk State, brother, just the fact that you're from here and you will take any talent from Hampton, ODU, anything, they will come just to play under Mike Vick. Just that, right? And you'd be the Deion Sanders of a small fishbowl here. And why don't you just boost this like area up a little bit? Like, give us some like wins, give some championships. Do the Deion Sanders route. Deion didn't move from Jackson State to Colorado immediately. He was there for like a couple of years. You know what I mean? He got money into the system, helped the college itself. You know what I mean? That's HBU. I think he should do that. Forget about Tech, bro. Like, it's all fine and dandy, but help the people here.
Yeah, he has a hotbed of talent to recruit from here. You called it. Penn State recruits heavily in this area. They always have. Deion Sanders he blazed a trail for guys who want to try coaching. And like Eddie George is currently in his 4th season at Tennessee State. He just finished 2nd in the FCS Coach of the Year vote. He went 9-4 this season after going 5-6, 4-7, and 6-5. So he's showing, like steady improvement in his 4 years. Yeah, that's huge. Deion Sanders just changed the game again. Like, it's going to be really cool to see what Michael Vick can do with this opportunity. It could go terribly. I wouldn't be shocked either. Like, one of these guys is going to embarrass themselves going into coaching at some point, because now more and more guys are going to take this opportunity to see what they could do in a low-pressure environment. Like, if Michael Vick flops in Norfolk State, no one's going to care.
Right.
After... Like, no one's going to remember it.
No one. It will remember that, oh, man, Michael Vick used to be head coach of the team. But beyond that, no one's going to remember the record and all that stuff, whatever. And even if he does flop, I would give him at least 3 years to let him flop out. Like, the first year is always, let him get his talent, let him get his transfer portal and all that, right? And then the second year is where you see what's happening there. And I think there could be a big deal. Like, it could be a really big deal. You said that previous coach went 14-30 what?
15-31.
15-31 in 3 years?
So the bar is already low.
In 3 years?
4 years.
4 years? That's like less than 4 wins a year? That's not good. You know what I mean? And even if he goes even, that's great. You know what I mean? And just the fact that Michael Vick is coaching, I don't know if you've ever been to Norfolk State before, the football stadium. I've been to a couple of Norfolk State games. It's a big stadium. Well, I mean, big for this area at least. That's what I'll say. Big for this area, because it ain't Georgia, it ain't Michigan. You know what I mean? It's not those places. But for here, we're talking about an outside stadium with a lot of bleachers. It's a large stadium that never gets full. It just never gets capacity. And you're talking about the idea that if he's a coach here for these 5 years, you're talking about in 757 galvanizing the market in Norfolk itself. Norfolk will feel influx of just people out of town, people coming there. Norfolk State will probably face better talent of teams will come here, which will bring more to the school, help surrounding areas, and stuff like that. Norfolk itself of the 757. I'm just turning to a 757 chat now, but that's, as a guy who was not born and raised here, but I was pretty much raised here. I've lived in Virginia Beach 757 area from 1990 to the 2022. You know what I mean? So I've been there forever, and I know what that area is: Church Street, Waterside, all that. So the idea that he could bring actual revenue, better paying jobs, a better way of living, and better players to this area, because we've had just a great at 7x7 itself had great players: Percy Harving, Ronald Curry, Dre Bly, Allen Iverson's from this area. You know what I mean? Cam Chancellor. You know what I mean? You could bring these players.
Boo Williams.
Play there. Boo Williams. There's a stadium named after him in Newport News.
There's way too many guys to name. Like, even the guys who aren't big names. I remember working at Ruby Tuesday. The garbage man came up to unlock the gate, and I was out there probably smoking, and he was like, I was like, hey, how you doing? And he said, good, my son's getting drafted today. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, my son's getting drafted. I forget where he played. And I looked at his name. It said, like, Marvin Mitchell on it. So I remembered this is back when I had to read the newspaper. I remembered the name in my head so I could check the draft the next day. There it was, Marvin Mitchell. He was drafted like the 7th round by the Saints. And then I followed his career. He won a Super Bowl. He played on special teams. He had like a 7-8 year career. I mean, that's the area is just churning out guys who fill out rosters all the time. And Michael Vick's going to be able to, like, Old Dominion has made a lot of noise in like their 15 years since they started their football program up and running.
True.
Michael Vick is already a more well-known head coach than whoever the head coach of Old Dominion is. He's going to be able to steal some guys from Old Dominion. I bet Old Dominion hates this hire.
Yeah, they absolutely hate it because, again, when you come to these sports players, they're not coming there for the education. They're going there to play sports to get a better opportunity. And these guys will get a chance to play with Michael Vick. And they could find – you have Michael Vick's head coach, just like how Prime was able to get Travis Hunter to go there because, man, I want to learn how to play quarterback from Deion Sanders. There's some kid out there who's really good at playing quarterback. Man, I would love to learn how to play quarterback from Michael Vick.
And I know Michael Vick is kind of a pariah. He's a good dude, and I know this is gonna sound stupid. Like, you know, I did meet him once, very briefly. I got his autograph at the Tides game. He was signing on the concourse, and I got him.
Okay.
I was getting ready to leave for the game. I knew he was gonna be there signing autographs, and I was like, "What can I get Michael Vick to sign?" I remembered he was on the Madden cover, so I grabbed my old Madden game and got him to sign it. But
cool.
His documentary, his 2-part 30 for 30 thing, he comes across so genuine in that. And you almost kind of feel bad for him for what he did because you could tell he got lost in being too loyal to his dumbass childhood friends and family who just totally took advantage of him. He didn't appreciate what he had and how hard he had to work to get to where he was. And he seems like he's been humbled. Like, it's amazing that he got TV work after what he went through, and now he's getting a head coaching opportunity. I mean, that's not a fluke. Like, that shows that people like him.
Right, and he's knowledgeable. He's not just like he knows he's well spoken. I know that's a terrible trope to give a black man, but he's well spoken, and he has a good head on his shoulders. He is smarter than his game showed. You know what I mean? And because I think he was on NFL Network. Right? Am I right? He was on some network.
Fox Sports, maybe?
Fox, maybe. But he did FS1, you're right, because he's pop up on first Undisputed a couple times in the morning. And, he's a good dude. You know what I mean? He does come off very genuine, like you said, and he's 30 for 30. So when I saw that in the news, I'm like, yo, that's what's up, man. That's good. You know what I mean? Because I think about these other players getting big. Hey, Norfolk State deserves this time in the sunshine as well. Behold a green and gold.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I went to go to a game once a few years ago, but I didn't know it was homecoming, and I couldn't get a place to park, and I ended up just leaving. The stadium is right next to the highway. I've been driving by it for 25 years now. Yeah.
Forever.
And the one game, I'm like, I'm going to go to the Norfolk State game this weekend. It was homecoming, and I just drove around for 40 minutes. I can't fucking park.
Homecoming, yeah, you ain't going to get nowhere to park at homecoming. And their parking spike, they don't have a lot of parking space anyway, so that's another thing too. So it's going to be a lot of renovations. If Michael Vick brings even a average season to them, they're going to have an amazing time. You know what I mean? It's going to be a genuine hire.
And if he's in it for the long haul, like if he's here 10, 15 years, you're going to see results from that, especially if he wins.
You know what I mean? Because
cool.
he go against teams like Virginia Commons, you know what I mean? Virginia State and stuff like that. It's just lower bred, you know, and he could inject money into that school. And it might have the possibility of turning that school around to not being the third-rate college around here, because you got Hampton, and you have Hampton, which is top tier, and then ODU is top tier B, depending on if you're white or black, I guess. And then Norfolk State's like lower tier. It's true.
And you could squeeze East Carolina in there too if you squint hard enough.
If you squint, but that's still North Carolina, so that doesn't count in my book. You know what I mean? Because then you have the VCUs and the, you know what I mean, Virginia Commons and stuff like that. So, yeah. So,
I watched some Norfolk State games on ESPN Plus too a couple times because they show their games on there.
They're a tough watch. I saw one live. It's a tough watch. You know what I mean? They're not.
Well, hopefully not in the future with
hopefully
Coach
in the
Vick.
future it's not.
If I have to give him any advice, I'd say don't hire your brother Marcus to be on your staff. Like, let that one go. Let
that one go. Yeah, you could. If I was my advice is I would call former players that you played with, and even if they were like, you know, even if they weren't the biggest name, but you knew they were the guys that were in the books, hire them, because I think that's a smart decision that any NFL team makes. You know what I mean? You're talking about like the Niners, Wes Welker is a receivers coach. You know what I mean? Like, these are smart dudes who maybe aren't like cream of the crop, top tier guys, but like these guys are, and they may not be your coordinators, hot coordinators, but you as a position coach, man, the D-line defensive coaches always are great. They're always like, if they're former players, they're really great at their job because they know how to connect with the guys. They understand what it is to do.
You know who I loved watching Hard Knocks? I don't even remember what team it was Brian Cox, was someone's like linebackers coach or D-line coach, and remember him from the 90s? He had a brief run at the top with the Dolphins. Yeah, he was cool as shit. I was like, I wanted to play after watching Brian Cox coach. But real quick, I didn't know we were going to spend this much time on it. Bill Belichick, he's going back to college too. What do you think? 5 years, $50 million. That's crazy to me.
Bill Belichick is like 70. You know what I mean? That's a different scenario, right? He's 73. And I mean, and what was it? The meme is going around is like Bill Belichick recruiting your son at home. He's like, this man, go ahead and sign the fucking paper. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's who Bill is. Bill don't have this time to be schmoozing with people and everything else. He's not Nick Saban, who's gonna show up with his championship ring and be like, all right, son, you're gonna come here, you're gonna play with us, and you're gonna earn a spot. You get one of these in your life, you know what I mean? And you're gonna you're a blue chipper hero, but you're gonna start from the bottom of my team, and you have to earn your spot. And because the lineage of what Alabama was, you had to. You have a choice. UNC's not that. You know what I mean? So I don't know what his recruiting style. Running. I don't know what his recruiting style looks like. You know what I mean? How his approach is or anything. It's just, so it's gonna be very interesting to say the least, and what his staff's gonna be full of like NFL guys. I mean, UNC's gonna have a really good defense. That's one thing I will know. They're gonna have a really good defense. That's it. Because Belichick's always been known for that. So that defense will be ready.
It sounds like his son's gonna run the defense. He's doing the Bobby Knight here. When Bobby Knight went to Texas Tech, it was like, it might not have been in the contract, but it was definitely understood that Pat Knight, his stupid son, was gonna replace Bobby Knight, and that's what's happening here with Bill Belichick. He's setting up his son to be the replacement here. So it'll be curious to see
why
how
Pat Knight gotta be stupid.
There's just guys that don't have what like their dad had or whoever, and like David Shula when he was hired to coach the Bengals, and you saw him at his press conference, and you were like, okay, that's not Don. And
not Dom at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
There's a bunch of guys.
It's not the Kubiaks. Like the Kubiaks, they could tell. The Shanahans, you could tell. You know what I mean? Like his dad was quiet. He's quiet too. They're offensive guys, so it was like, hey, so you're getting something. It's all baked in the pie. You know what I mean?
You see it with some ownership now too. Like the Giants owner, like you can tell their kid doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Look at them now.
Yeah. Dumpster fire.
Back to Teddy Bridgewater real quick. How old do you think he is?
Teddy has to be 31.
Yeah, good guess. He's 32. It seems
Okay.
like he's been playing for 20 years now.
He was in the league for a long time ago, and I remember when he was in Louisville, he was really good, but then he got injured because his running back was Michael Bush. That's how far back we're going. Michael Bush was his running back.
Wow.
You know, you know what I mean. I remember Teddy Bridgewater because he wore the gloves. He has small hands. Right, because in college he didn't wear gloves. When he got in the NFL, they're like, your hands too small, hands too small. So all of a sudden he's on the Minnesota Vikings wearing these white gloves, and you're like, you look ridiculous. And he had no arm power, really. He throws farther than me. But he had no arm power to NFL standards. I have to preface at that because, like, can't throw better than him. I fully understand that. But at the same sense, he's very accurate. He's very accurate, and he was sneaky fast. And I think he peaked kind of in New Orleans. He had a good little run with the Saints, and then he got hurt. He's always been getting hurt. So I just think it's a poor decision. If you're coaching for your alma mater in Florida, then why don't you just coach a high school team for a couple of years, then coach a college team, you know what I mean, and go from there. I'm pretty sure you coach a college football team. Louisville college football team is okay. You could try to get in that program and take over.
Yeah, just go ahead and start the rest of your life, Teddy. I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan. I love watching him play. He's just an unassuming, smart quarterback who you could trust to win some games for you without padding his stats. I mean, you didn't play this year. You won a high school championship. Start the rest of your life. You're good. You won life.
But for real, because, like, was it Josh McCown? Josh McCown was almost the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And he was coaching a high school team that did not win the state championship. And they were going to make him an NFL head coach. And then everybody was like, oh, hell no, stop. Like, enough alarm bells went through the organization that made the owner say, all right, we're going to back off this and hire Frank Wright instead. Because, and he took a lesser position with him. Because, like, dude, you're going to make him the head coach? He can't win in high school. How are you going to...
And then our last bit of quarterback talk here, we spent a lot of time on it last week, so we don't really need to dig too deep into it this week, but we do have some finality to what we discussed, and that is Kirk Cousins has officially been benched. Michael Penix Jr. will be starting for the Falcons, which is pretty crazy because they are in the playoff hunt, but like Kirk Cousins is washed. He doesn't have Justin Jefferson on his team anymore. He's coming back off a major injury. He doesn't have a quarterback-friendly coach either, the way he did in Minnesota. Like, Raheem Morris is a defensive coach.
That's a lot of... So the last 2 points you made were probably the biggest points possible. Because when he was in Minnesota, because he's Sam Darnold doing. So that's what makes it weird. Like, Cousins was really good with the head coach there. Then all of a sudden, Sam Darnold shows up for a season. He's really good now. Is it the quarterback or is it the system? I'm scared if Sam Darnold leaves his team, goes somewhere else, because that might be fool's gold. You know what I mean? That might be fool's gold. Like, wait a minute, it's the head coach and his offensive scheming, and then with the Flores defense keeping the game close so you could do it, and then you have the weapons. You know what I mean? Because Atlanta, let's not pretend like Atlanta don't have the weapons. Bijan Robinson proved himself. Hey, I'm an Atlanta hater, but I will be the first one to admit. Bijan Robinson is the real deal, okay? 1,000-yard rusher, he's electric, okay? He's electric. He's a little fragile, but electric. You know what I mean? Drake London has never been your top tier 1 guy. I think he's a tier 2 wide receiver. He's lesser than T. Higgins, I guess. He would be a step down from T. Higgins, if you will. So you need to find a real number 1. Kyle Pitts is depressing. You know what I mean? He's just not right. He's just depressing. So a lot of that, some of that's on Kirk Cousins, but it's the decision making. Kirk Cousins is making bad decisions. He's overthrowing. He threw a really bad pick last Monday against Oakland.
He's broken.
He just sailed it, and you're like, what are you doing? So that's bad. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They're in a playoff hunt. They are a game behind Tampa for the playoff spot, and either they're selling their season, either like, all right, we're wrapping it up. Like, we try to, we're not gonna keep trying to win these games and get a lesser draft spot so we don't reload faster or whatever. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off now. And so next year, Kirk Cousins is $27 million guaranteed on his contract. So this is a contract that can be traded what team would take him? I'm feeling Tennessee.
The Jets.
Tennessee. Tennessee would be the team that I think would pick him up. Because unless Tennessee is really in the top, they could draft quarterback like that. You got Will Levis there. You know what I mean? So I think they could pick him up because you get rid of Mason Rudolph and pick up Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins would be an upgrade immediately for that offense because seeing him throw to Calvin Ridley would be a nice move.
Rudolph's the better quarterback on the Titans than Levis, but we don't need to do Titans quarterback talk here.
He is, though, because Will Levis is benched, and now is Mason Rudolph time, but Mason Rudolph's not the answer either. He never was.
All right, let's get into this Wingstop Playoff Bracket presented by Wingstop. We got 3 games to cover. We can't forget to talk about Rob's bye week performance either, so we'll do that at the end. So first up, it's not me this time. It's Jordan DeMoss versus Smash Hawk Kendrick. We both picked Smash Hawk. This game was very close throughout the entirety of the day, and Smash Hawk pulled away on the Sunday night games. But Pat Mahomes, 22 points. James Conner, 36 points. He lost Nick Chubb also, so if he would have won, he would have had a crater at running back, even though Chubb has been pretty bad the last 2 weeks. But Chubb only got a 4. Jawan Jennings only got a 5. Travis Kelce only got a 6. 136 wasn't going to get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, he would have had a major problem because I think they're talking about sitting Patrick Mahomes next week anyway because it's a high ankle sprain. So he would have been looking for a quarterback, another running back. It just would have been a straight piecemeal situation for him. It would have been a bad time. So, Smash Hawk took him out of his misery. Concerning, though, with Smash Hawk here, Tua. After we praised him last week of all the great performances he was doing, he throws 3 picks and less 200 yards. That is not it, Tua. And he has nothing on
career
the bench.
High in turnovers.
And there's I don't think there's any hope for him to not hope them get better, but I don't see it turning around because the Miami offense is very much the Miami offense right now. It's going through 2 people, and it's
kind of a tough matchup with Houston, and then also next week got the 49ers at home though. But yeah, I think you have to roll with Tua again. Let's see who's out there real quick. Drake May, Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson. No, you got to play Tua again. You could really roll the dice. If you're feeling really weird, you could play Penix.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers or Penix. Those are some weird dice rolls right there.
Penix against the Giants. That's at least a good matchup. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it's interesting.
You're right about that. It's a good matchup. But he had Smash Hawk had major help from the Atlanta Falcons defense, who played a shitty Oakland team that's looking for a new head coach and new quarterback, a new place to play football again. You know what I mean? Was it? And A.J. Brown went back to regular form, 8 for 110, a touchdown. That's pretty solid. And Smith, Jackson Smith, Nick Jigma, 10 catches for 83 yards. Look, I shitted on a trade for him earlier this season. He's been very solid of late. Of the second half of the season, he's been very solid.
12 targets. He has a problem, though, because Geno Smith is out and Sam Howell is an asshole. So
Jesus.
Smith and Jigba might be in trouble next week. He got Charbonnet played in place of Kenny Walker again. He didn't do as good as the previous week, but he still got 15 points, 54 yards, a touchdown on only 8 carries.
Kamara's banged up,
4
too.
Targets.
Kamara's banged up. He left that game early. Well, towards the back end of that game, he left the Washington game. 12 carries, whatever, and he has touchdown catch, 18 yards. He's pulling up. What's the Miami running back's name? Was it
Achane.
Those are Achane stats. You know, actually Achane stats.
That catch he made was awesome too. It running out of bounds in the end zone, diagonal. He just stuck his hand out and it just plopped right into it. Kamara became the 4th player in league history with 50 career rushing touchdowns and 25 career receiving touchdowns. Can you name the other 3?
All right, run that question back one more time. You said 50 rushing touchdowns and
25 receiving touchdowns, 4th player in history. So there's 3 others. One is currently active. One is in the Hall of Fame, and one I don't think he'll get.
Damn. All right. So the active one is where you threw me off. I was like, what, active? Somebody's active with that? So let's see. Let's say LT, LaDaine Tolson. He has that 50 rush.
No, that's a good guess, though.
What? Then it would be Marshall Faulk then.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
The one that active is currently injured, but he's, active in the league.
Okay. I don't know who that would that be Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah, isn't that crazy already?
Christian McCaffrey. Wow, okay. It says a lot because Christian McCaffrey he scores a lot of touchdowns. You know what I mean? And receiving ones, he does a lot of that. Because even good guesses would have been like Tiki Barber would have been a good guess as well. Edgerrin James would have been a solid guess from my mind too. I'm just thinking about him. And you said one more I can never guess.
I'll give it to you for Edgerrin James. It's not Edgerrin James, but it's a former Colt, Lenny Moore.
Lenny Moore. Okay.
You would have never got that right.
I would never got that.
I wouldn't even know how to give you a hint for that.
All right. I'd have probably guessed like Barry Sanders or Thurman Thomas somewhere in there. But I mean, for those. But yeah, the Edgerrin James, man, he had a lot of short yard catches from Peyton Manning too. That's why I'm kind of surprised. But all right.
Smash Hawk messed up though. He left an empty spot on his bench. That's a no-no in the playoffs because you could get tiebreaker points. This game was extremely close. Jordan's bench only scored 18 points. Smash Hawk's bench only scored 9.
9, yeah. You need even if picking up players that like you block other people from getting these a decent player. At least you're blocking them. You know what I mean? Like you're still playing defense somewhere else. Like, hey, this is the second best running back out here on the free agency. I'm gonna take him anyway, just cause. You know what I mean? You never know.
There's really not much else here. Kyron Williams had another good week. Ho-hum for him.
Yeah, nothing else.
Good win for Smash Hawk, playoff win. Because he was teetering going into those final couple of weeks, and it looks like he straightened himself out. Next game, we got a fucking bloodbath here. Lionheart versus me, the fantasy football team. I got about doubled here. I lost 200 to 106. This was just... I took a donut from Cooper Kupp on the Thursday night game where the opposing team literally had a player quit in the middle of the game and Cooper Kupp still couldn't record a catch. And that just set the tone for my game here. It was over. I had a realization watching this game unfold that I had a nice season. I had a really good draft that I was happy with. But I was a pretender. If I was going to make it through the playoffs, I was going to need help, and I got none of it this week.
You're right, but you're right on the idea. You got no help. It is absolutely true. Cooper Kupp going 0 for 0 is trash, and if you want to, it is trash. You know what I mean? And
you called it too last week. You said I'm worried about Cooper Kupp, and then he shit all over himself.
You know, because it's like, dude, you're Cooper Kupp, man, and for the idea that Puka is getting 7 for 97. You telling me Cooper can't get like 4 for 50? Like, come on, man. Like, that's a scheming issue. There's no way Cooper is that cooked. There's no way. Tyreek 2 for 36. That's bad. Tua played like ass. So it didn't work out well for you on that. Brock Bowers 3 for 35. Atlanta shut him down. So you mean Brock Bowers been blocked down last week against Tampa, which is like the worst pass defense, and then you get locked out by Atlanta, who is not a good pass defense either. It's just like it's the quarterback change because they're doing what's it do? Riddle's garbage.
Oh, Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, you're at third string quarterback problems.
Listen to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Weeks 11 through 13, Brock Bowers had 27 catches on 40 targets. 68 points combined, 2 touchdowns, 200, close to 300 yards. The last 2 weeks, 6 catches, 11 targets, 84 yards, 13 points.
Garbage. That's garbage. It is. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah. Tony Pollard did okay, but Tony Pollard got sniped by Tajay Spears a couple times. He lost 2 touchdowns to Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears, this is how bad my week was. Justice Hill had 17 points. Tajay Spears had 26 points. 2 guys I never started. They've been on my roster for like over a month now, probably like close to 6 weeks, and they outscored Pollard, Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Brock Bowers, Adam Thielen. Just not good.
Yeah, I would say I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you, man. But part of me feels like, no, I don't feel sorry because you made me eat that shit last week. So you're eating shit. You're eating shit this week. I got blown out last week. Now you got blown out this week. We're losing in grand fashion.
Yeah.
You know, Lionheart. Geez,
Hats
where do we
off.
start? Where do we start? So Detroit Lions got into a shootout with Buffalo Bills, who has the worst defense in the league. Because Buffalo's in absolute shootouts the last 2 weeks. Both their games have scored at least 90 points, which is ridiculous combined. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns, 57 points, almost 500 yards thrown, career high for him. And I thought he did hit 500 when it was that Rams-Chiefs game. When he was in LA, he had that Rams-Chiefs game, and he also had that Tampa game as well that they went ape shit at night. You know what I mean? Somehow Jared Goff playing at night's ridiculous. It gets really ridiculous throwing the ball. But Lionheart, I'm kind of worried. With Montgomery going down, now the Thunder Lightning combo's not there. So now Jahmyr Gibbs have to tote the rock. And I know they're like, oh, he could carry it all. I'm like, maybe for the next 3 games into the playoffs, he's kind of a small guy. So they're going to have another big back try to alleviate that because Montgomery did a lot of the dirty work that freed up for Gibbs to run the ball like he does. So that's something there. But Sam Laporta sent him for a 111. It's like return back to home. And Malik Neighbors 10 for 82 and a touchdown against a poorish New York Giants team.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors came up big, 10 catches, 82 yards, a touchdown. He has been killing it target-wise. He has 37 targets the last 3 weeks. He's had double digits every game he's played except for one. He did miss a couple games in weeks 5 and 6. He's the 10th ranked receiver in the season. Brindle's going to have to play Tank Bigsby as his RB2 next week, and that's not good unless he can pull a rabbit out of his hat. His other option is Antonio Gibson, who had 10 points this week. I don't see that happening again. He had 7 carries for 33 yards, and he had 2 catches for another 31 yards. But, I mean, that Patriots offense is dog shit, and Antonio Gibson's only owned in 15% of leagues for a reason. You do not want to be starting him in the game before the championship game.
Yeah, that is very true. That is, you do not want to. It's a bad look.
But, yeah, good win by Brindle. Jared Goff, amazing, 57 points. Jared Goff is only owned in 72% of leagues. That seems like a crime. I did want to shout out Jaden Daniels. He had 34 points despite being sacked 8 times, and he had a third of my points.
Damn. Yeah, it's a poor. It just, I feel for you. Like you get in the playoffs and you barely score 100 points. You're like, what the hell? What is this?
Just
you know what I mean?
dog
That's where a lot of this is. You get dog walked. Shit, you got thrown in a trash compactor. Like it's just you got packed up, put into a locker. Like it's just get out of the way, buddy. Like get out of the way, buddy. Just like
Yeah.
So that's tough, real tough.
Yep. So I'm on the clock. Last playoff game of the week. This wasn't as bad as a dog walking. This was Boy Scout trombone Zug off Springen. Jones, 7-7. He snuck in the playoffs at the last minute last week versus the mighty Tampa Bay Punishers, 188-145. Lamar Jackson was not fucking around. 5 touchdowns. This is 6th time in his career with 5 touchdown passes. He had 50 points. Derrick Henry just ho-hum, 10 points. What are you going to do when Lamar's doing whatever he wants?
Yeah, whatever he wants.
This was his lowest scoring game of the season. It didn't even matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It's very ho-hum, and then Chuba Hubbard, man, score 188, and you're getting both your running backs combined for 22 points is definitely a feat there. Scary Terry, 7 for 73 with 2 touchdowns, tied a career high. Jonnu Smith, 9 for 48. he continues his hot streak. Fantasy special teams scored 45 points on fantasy special teams itself. So Tampa Bay, they're rolling. They're rolling along. So we'll see where it goes with that. There's no injuries to speak of there, and he's prime and ready to go.
Yeah, Jones had a good week. He should have played Jalen Hurts over Bo Nix. I didn't like seeing Hurts on his bench. It just didn't make sense to me. But then you kind of sold it to me. But I mean, that's tough stuff. I wouldn't. He played against
because it could have been one way or the other. Because he went against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh embarrasses people. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about it. These are one of these rare cases where Pittsburgh got embarrassed, like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown doing the kid and play dance. I mean, it's a bad time. In the Steel City, but he pulled off one of the more incredible feats in fantasy special teams of the 59 points. Fantasy special teams with the Kansas City defense, the Tampa Bay kicker, McLaughlin, and Minnesota head coach. That's when you get damn near 60 points just from your fantasy special teams. That says a lot for your team that you score 145. That says a lot about what happened everywhere else.
Yeah, 145 can win you some games. Nix did throw 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 picks and only 130 yards. But he got 24 points, so it's not like he totally shit the bed. But
Najee Harris
across from Lamar Jackson, Najee
Harris 4 points
yards
is unacceptable. Right? He 4 points. He's done better. He averaged at least 12 to 15 all season. So getting 4 points is
17.4.
And them 17 points makes up a big difference. D-Hop has been disappointing. That season ends for him. For D-Hop there. Ladd McConkey against Tampa, there was no second half offense at all for Ladd. So that's the difference, really.
He was banged up.
Yeah. And he lost his with Njoku going down, being questionable and is out the game. He had to start Zach Ertz, and Zach Ertz came only 2 for 25.
Yeah, Ertz left the game early. He made a great catch across the middle and then just got pile drove into the turf in front of the end, and that ended his day. Commanders have some injury issues now to key veterans. That's really going to hurt them. Noah Brown, Eckler, and now Ertz. That's going to be tough for a young team to overcome. But yeah, nothing else here.
You wanted to mention the one person's game, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, Rob's bye week. He had a very good 176. So Chase Brown, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also got a $5,481 fine for using a Salvation Army bell during a touchdown celebration. Justin Jefferson, 20 points. Jerry Jeudy is another 21, 11 catches, 108 yards. He does not have Jameis Winston throwing him the ball this week.
Pumpkin mode. He has Dorian, that Dorian dude throwing out to him next. Oh man, them targets are going way. You might as well call him way down.
You might as well call him Snorian because he just, like you just said, Jerry Jeudy is done. Guy sucks. Not Jeudy, Dorian Thompson, whatever.
And he has nothing like Dabo Samuel has been absolute garbage this year. Only 1 touchdown, and it's amazing. He's on his bench, so I mean, he'll have to probably spot start Dabo. Debo. I'm calling him Dabo. I'm calling him Dabo because he's not Debo at all. Because Jerry Jeudy is resorting back to a pumpkin. There's no way he's getting 11 catches in 108.
Debo hasn't had over 25 yards since week 10. He has single digits 5 weeks in a row. He's a 49th ranked receiver. He's only averaged 8.9 points a game. And miraculously, though, he's still owned in 95% of leagues. People cannot let him go.
Damn. That's wild. And a fun fact, though, his team scored 176, and my team scored 176. And his running back, Bucky Irving, scored 19 points. And Rashard White scored 19 points. It's a really weird situation there, but hey. Because I was watching my team score 76 points. I was like, oh great. Oh, thanks a lot. 176. Thanks, guys. Where was that last week? Where was that last week, guys?
We don't have to talk about the loser bracket at all. We'll just mention that Sweetness won a 1-point game, 166-165. So that was fun. Hopefully,
that was
him and Brandon enjoyed that.
A barn burner. You know, he does have Josh Allen, so we can speak to Josh Allen. Probably haven't won the greatest. If he's turning into probably the greatest fantasy season for a quarterback of all time.
Yeah, that was a surprise draft pick when he took him too, because he took him early. He was the first quarterback off the board, and he nailed that pick.
You have to retire that, like, up there with like the Brady, the perfect season Brady, the Peyton Manning of the Colts when he threw for 50 touchdowns, and when he threw for 50 touchdowns with Denver. Like, you have to retire this up because he just 4 touchdowns. He has 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
So, new to the ESPN settings this year, it always bothered me this wasn't in the settings, and you couldn't really go in and manually change it without causing an uproar or trying to explain to people, like, what the hell you were doing, so you just always left it alone. But new to ESPN is reseeding. The bracket looks clean and crisp here because we have the number 6 seed versus the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed versus the number 4 seed. That wouldn't have happened without the setting change that ESPN has enabled. So let's preview the Lionheart versus Spawn's team. I forget what we were calling him earlier, MVP or something.
Yeah, MVP, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Brenda already set his lineup because Bigsby is in his RB2 and Jamison Williams is in his flex. We'll see if he gets anybody on waivers. There's not much out there. I think Devin Singletary and Kenny Gainwell's out there. Those aren't terrible options, but they're not David Montgomery, that's for sure. And he's looking across with Joe Mixon, Chase Brown, and Bucky Irving. That's the 3 running backs. We'll see if Kenny Walker plays, but at this point you really can't trust him.
This has upset written on it. Only because, again, I like the matchups. You're talking about Lionheart faces Chicago, which they've, like, dump trucked already this season, and they're going to do it again. It's just, it's not a good look there. Puka against the Jets might be a problem. But everything else seems really good for Lionheart, where MVP, he has Cleveland defense, which is pretty decent defense. Cleveland don't give up big points. They don't do that, except it's a Monday night game against Denver, I guess. But Joe Mixon against Kansas City, that's a tough matchup. Jerry Jeudy again, punkin mode. And then he has he has Baltimore defense and the Baltimore head coach against Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh just owns Baltimore. They just beat them every time. Yeah. So that might be just negative points you're putting. You're putting negative points on your board. There's no way they projected as a positive this week. There's no way they did.
Yeah, I don't know who... You mentioned the matchups for Lionheart, and I agree with you. The Bears suck. Tank Bigsby's going against the Raiders, who suck. Puka's going against the Jets, who suck. Neighbors is going against the Falcons. But all these games are on the road. Almost all of Lionheart's players are on the road this week. I don't know. I don't like that Jerry Jeudy situation, but, I mean, Debo's the other option, and he's dead in the water. Kenny Walker, we already talked about his injury. But just bad time for the Kenny Walker injury. Because now it's to the point where, like, Seattle's kind of season is in the tank, and you might want to play Charbonnet anyway.
Right, but they're playing for a playoff spot, so they're going to keep trying.
Who do you got here? I'm going to lean towards...
I'm going
upset here.
All right, okay. I'm not going upset. I'm going to hold true to the guy that's been beating everybody all season. So just hold true on this. The MVP is going to MVP this way out of it. Even though the Jerry Jeudy spot scares me, absolutely scares me. But you're right. You sold me on the idea that it's all road games. So I wonder how Puka's going to do in New York, and how the Detroit's going to play in Chicago in December. You know what I mean? So that's yeah. I don't see 50 points, 40 points for them. It should be a little more tame. And Jahmyr Gibbs needs to play that game without getting injured. That's the goal for him. Don't get injured out there.
Yeah, he's not getting any help.
It ain't coming. Because it's really telling. It's really telling because he's not starting Detroit defense.
Yeah, we'll see if he puts that in or not. He sat him this week wisely.
He'd rather ride with New Orleans instead. So.
Lionheart is a 9.5-point underdog. Spawn has a 55% win probability. So I took the underdog. You took the favorite. Next matchup, Smash Hawk versus Punishers. This is a heavyweight title bout. We got Smash Hawk, who corrected course. Tampa Bay, who's just been the model of consistency all season with Lamar Jackson, Henry, Hubbard, and McLaurin. Don't love Jacoby Myers as the RB2 with, I don't even know who the Raiders, Desmond Ridder is the Raiders quarterback. What's Myers been, Myers has been very good the last month. So I'm wrong about
Very
that.
consistent. He's been consistent.
Wow, I did not know that. ATN, don't love him either in there. What's he been doing? Okay, he's got double digits the last 3 weeks. He's not really killing it, but these numbers look pathetic. 13 for 46, 4 for 20, and 14 for 65 rushing the ball. But he's been getting some catches. He has 11 catches the last 3 weeks.
Yeesh. In this matchup, I'm feeling Smash Hawk, so I'm going for the upset this time. I feel Niners, their season's over. They've lost their will to live this season, so they're just gonna roll over and let Miami break dance on them. Alvin Kamara, if he plays, that's the big thing. If Alvin Kamara doesn't play, that's a problem. He has to fix a flex spot because McCormick is doubtful to play, so he has to probably find somebody different there. But I think AJ Brown, Smith Jigma might give him enough firepower to beat Tampa Bay, which I don't have faith in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry going off on Pittsburgh defense. There may be a home game, but again, it's the black and blue division. Chuba Hubbard against Arizona, he's going to eat. He's going to get some. Scary Terry against Philly. Apparently, Philly's defense got a lot better in the last month or so. I haven't seen it, but because no one's starting that defense. If it's so good, no one's starting that great Philly defense, but still. And I don't believe in Travis Etienne or Jonnu against the Niners.
I remember what I just said about the Commanders. Terry is all by himself. No Ertz, no Eckler, no Noah Brown. Kamara, that's a huge problem. Smith and Jigba is a huge problem with Sam Howell there. Jawan Johnson, the Saints tight end, is not a good look. There has to be a better tight end for him. It's like you said, Sincere McCormick, who came alive the last couple weeks, is not going to play for the Raiders. Charbonnet, what are you going to get out of him if Kenny Walker plays? Tua has totally been struggling. I'm going with the Punishers.
Okay. All right. So we got opposing ones this week. So I wrote it down, so we will remember for next week.
Yeah. So that's it for the predictions and the box score reviews. All that's left is your Hall of Famer. It's you this week.
All right. So my Hall of Famer, he was on the cover of not NFL Live, but it was like NFL 2K in the early 2000s. He played at the College of UCF from 95 to 98. He was drafted in 99, first round pick, number 11. I'm talking about no one else but Mr. Dante Culpepper. Dante Culpepper, he's a Hall of Famer in my book because he, in his early career, he had a Hall of Fame career going. Like the first 5 years, it looked like he was going to be a Hall of Fame. And then the wheels fell off. His knee got hurt, and Minnesota dumped him. He missed a lot of games. Minnesota dumped him. He went to Miami. It wasn't good. What could have believed? Nick Saban picked Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. What could have been if he'd have picked Drew Brees to play in Miami instead, and you would have had Drew Brees against Tom Brady for like a decade, which would have been crazy, right?
Drew Brees might not have taken off, though. Put a pin in this, because I've been thinking about Drew Brees as my pick recently. So, yeah, we'll get into Brees next week. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But he has 63% completion. He had 24,000 passing yards, 149 touchdowns, 106 interceptions. So he's a wild quarterback. Pass rating 87%, so he's not that accurate either. But he has over 2,600 yards rushing with 34 rushing touchdowns. In a single season, though, his first season actually starting, they had his best record 11-5, and he had 33 passing touchdowns, which is pretty incredible. From there, though, his record's kind of gone down, and his passing yards floated around 35 to 38, and he's averaged about like touchdowns about 14. And one of his seasons he had 23. He led the league with 23 interceptions, so it's like craziness. But his last season as a full-time Minnesota Viking quarterback, they went 8-8, and his passing percentage was 69%. So again, not great. But he threw 4,700 yards, and he had 39 touchdowns with 11 interceptions. So it was quite impressive. He had an impressive season after that. He got injured, and he'd been bounced around. Then he left. And he actually played in the UFL for one season. All 8 games, and threw for almost 2,000 yards and 10 touchdowns there. So the Sacramento team in 2010.
So I probably saw him play against the Virginia Destroyers at the Sportsplex then if he was playing. Because I remember Sacramento played here because Denzel's son played for them, and Denzel was at
How did you not notice that then? You should have noticed that. You noticed Denzel Washington's son. You don't remember Dante Culpepper?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember it now.
I remember we saw a game.
It was like 15 years ago, though.
We saw Jake Fromm. Was it Jake Fromm?
Yeah, we went to the championship game.
Jake Fromm was terrible. He just couldn't throw.
Jim Fossil coached the Las Vegas Locos.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. We'll be back next year.
Yeah, Culpepper. Yeah, that's why I didn't buy season tickets for them, because I was like, you could tell this is like a shoddy business operation from the league, not even just from the team. So I was like, I'm just going to go on a game-by-game basis, because I don't believe you guys. And both seasons shut down early.
We knew it was shoddy. We knew it was shoddy from the parking situation. It was just like, oh yeah, y'all are charging. You know what? Just go ahead and park a car. We don't care. What?
Culpepper looked like he was going to be a face of the league at one point, and it just got derailed. Kind of sad in a way. I thought he was going to have a comeback with the Raiders. I think it was his first game with the Raiders. It was either the Dolphins or the Raiders, but his first game he scored 3 touchdowns rushing the ball, and he pointed to his knee like, I'm back.
Dolphins. He was a Dolphin. Yeah, it was a Dolphin game. He tapped his knee like, nothing wrong with that. And you're like, yeah, but the problem was never your leg, man. It was your arm. Like, you're wildly inaccurate. So now you're even worse. You know what I mean? You never got more accurate as it went along. It was different when him and Randy Moss just, the Moss got created. You just throw it, chuck it up, and Randy Moss grabs it and brings it down. That's it.
Last week's Hall of Famer, Randy Moss. Yeah, Culpepper, 6'4", 260. He was a big dude. He was fun to watch play when he was in his prime.
He was co-MVP for a season as well. So, he's not going to be in the regular Hall of Fame at all, but he'll be in ours.
Oh, he was on the cover of Madden. That's what he was on
Madden?
The cover of.
Okay.
Yeah. Madden Curse. All right, so that's it for this week. We'll be back next week for round 2 of the playoffs. We only got 2 episodes left. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.